And, I just wanted to remind you about something. When we think about body composition, you might look at your frame or your shape. You want to understand that when it comes to the abdominal area, sometimes if you see a person has a round belly or, there's an excess body fat, sometimes that appearance of fat is not necessarily fat, but it's a combination of some fat and then just bloating. And typically you can tell, like if it's hard, if it's hard and it's distended, it's extended, then it's, some sort of issue internally. The reason why I would mention this is because that's an indication of a health issue that's taking place or that's beginning. And what I mean by beginning is because if your digestive system isn't functioning efficiently, then you're not absorbing the nutrients you need in order to regenerate your body, like body parts like your organs. And when these parts start to fail and malfunction, that's when we get these other diagnoses. And so it's not always so much. Oftentimes be at the gym and I'll see individuals that they're doing just cardio. By the way, if you're trying to get healthy overall, remember you need to build strength and you need to do resistance training. You need to do some sort of movements at least 3 times a week to be able to build your functional strength, okay? And doing strengthening isolations, and so you don't want to do cardio prior to doing that. See, a lot of individuals, they'll do 30 minutes, they'll do 40 minutes, an hour, even more than that, and then they'll go do the weights. Well, you're depleting the energy that your body needs in order to be able to resource, to push, and do the routine. And if you flip that around and separate your long cardio days on days that you're not doing resistance training, then you're going to be able to feel the benefits, the functional benefits. Just a side note there. But when it comes to the stomach area, it's an area that a lot of people say they want to go down, but they understand that if you just focus on calories and still eat processed food, calories in the form of processed food, then you're going to get the digestive issue. Your skin is not going to rejuvenate. Your hormones are not going to function properly because those toxins that are in the processed foods, sometimes they're either a number of different things. There's toxins in there like pesticides and other chemicals and preservatives. Your body can't digest that because it doesn't have the enzymes to break it down. And then you have other things like the form of nutrients that are in there. Sometimes they're chemical, they're fake nutrients, and so they're not properly absorbed by the body. And they cause that inflammation and bloating. Then we have things like the fake brain, and then that combination of everything that's in there, the high carbohydrates, the sugar, all of those things can cause inflammation and the malfunctioning of our digestive system. And so you're not going to be able to get what you need. I don't care what it says on the label. I don't care if it says 40 grams of protein. If it's garbage, if it's toxic, if you look at that label and you don't understand what's on the label, it's fake, it's not whole food ingredients, it's not organic, then your body doesn't have the ability to break it down and utilize it. And so that could be part of the reason behind the bloating. And I've seen a lot of that lately, especially when someone has a big belly and their limbs are very small. Okay, now we have different muscles in our arms. Everybody doesn't have to be, doesn't need to be big, but we need to have the function and the strength that we need. And when you see maybe someone to where you literally can't see if there is any muscle there, it's just skin, it's very small, it looks depleted, then this is an indication that your body's trying to give you that you need to change up your routine and start to focus on health. But sometimes the person will say, oh no, I'm fine, I just have this belly. Well, that's an issue. That's an issue because you're looking at the size of your arm and say, okay, it's skinny, it's not that. But we need strength in order to perform movements every day. We need to be able to do the things that we were put here to do. And so you all think about your health in terms of function. And when you're considering how you want to lose weight, okay, consider your health first. And then consider this thing about the digestive system. Research how to optimize your digestive system, because I don't care what your goal is. I don't care if you like how flat stomach is. It's not going to be flat forever if your digestive system is not optimized. And if you don't get something that visually causes you or motivates you to want to make a change because you like it or the people around you like it, that's still not good, because they're not going to like it when 20 years down the line you got to go in for emergency surgery. And everybody said, oh, I don't know what was wrong with them. They was looking good. They were so healthy. Well, they weren't healthy. You equated the way that they looked to their health. And that's a huge part of the issue that we have today, you all. So when it comes to wanting to lose body fat around the midsection, keep in mind that it's not always just the fat, but it's a combination of a response to a malfunctioning digestive system, and it's and stored body fat. But if the digestive system continues to malfunction, then you are going to get the excess body fat, or even the depletion or the inability to build muscle, which I see this very common in the gym as well. Individuals are working out, but because what they're taking in is poor, and they're drinking alcohol, eating lots of sugar, the typical American diet, and they're spending hours in the gym, nothing changes. The frame doesn't become regenerated. The skin starts to look very old and very loose. Even though they're doing hours of working out, it never tightens up, because the body needs nutrients in order to regenerate. And that skin is looking for something to regenerate with, and it doesn't have it because the alcohol, the sugar, and the other processed foods are blocking the body from the nutrients it needs in order to get that outcome that you need and the outcome that you want. All right, y'all. Hope that makes sense. I'll be back. Talk to you all later. You have a blessed day. Whew.